8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Got me at the coast, boy. Wanna hear the ocean roar crash over me. Then ride it home, dance it out in moonlight. Hold me tight and don't let go. Watch over me. We are all stardust, stardust, stardust. Left behind, left to find one another, face the sun, fear no one, 'cause we are all one, we are all one, we are all, we are all one, we are all one, we are all. Lift me up, yeah, moonchild, put me into overflow. Superstar.
Hey everybody. So I'm just sending a quick email to Fred because I just remembered something. I forgot to tell him about the reading I had done for him. I told him I would do a tarot reading on him. So I did. I posted it on my other channel, Empress Ziggy. So if you want to check it out and are into those things, you might find it interesting. Today's wiener is RJ. 2 days in a row, he's a wiener. Oh my gosh. Hey, Nene. So I was trying to wait to go live. So Fred just emailed and said, tell everyone to be safe. It's a jungle out there. Love you guys. He said it's a jungle out there. Oh my God. He's funny. Funny. So, hey, Debbie. This is crazy. Talking about the stuff on Brandon Lawson. Hey, Poppy, Linda, Marlene. Hey, everybody. So, like I was going to say, though, I was trying to wait as long as possible because PG's live, and I was curious about what she was talking about, too, and I was listening in on that. But I figured she's been live long enough, so like a jungle with flying monkeys. Yeah. Hey, Kathy. So I definitely wanted to look at these documents that Trev has released, and I am so thankful to him. His channel is in the description of this live, but I'll also, if the mods can, post his link every so often, but I just posted it. I spelled time wrong, but you know what I mean. So thank you so much, Trevor, Yeah, I saw that, Shannon. But thank you so much for getting these documents, because it should, that's proof of things. It's exactly what I've heard. And, well, I mean, I didn't hear the details of it like that was in the documents. But it was pretty disgusting. And I hope that everybody that was involved in that sentencing, or that whole Dan Armstrong Judge Carter or Carter. We'll see it here in a second. Don't worry. Kind of feel, though, in a way that they manipulated that judge and the assistant district attorney. He was a brand new judge, okay? And he has people like Ronnie Lawson and Dan Armstrong who are very known in the community and respected. And he's in his first year as a judge. And so I'm sure he's probably, I don't know, wanting to fit in with the big dogs, I guess. I don't know. I'd rather keep my integrity, but that's just me. I hope that Brandon and Ronnie have to. Well, actually, Ronnie. I want to hear from Ronnie the most. I want to ask him, what is this? Oh my God. Here's, here. Put at the right spot, but okay. So in this, it really bugged, you could tell like audibly that Trevor was really disturbed about what was in the documents. He had a hard time going through them because of the graphic nature of it. Oh my God, but Trevor made some great points. And it just pisses me off so bad because I just know those same things that Trevor is saying about the charges. Like, why wasn't he charged with sexual assault by an authority figure or whatever, which is a B felony and is not eligible for probation, or you have to do a certain amount of time. Also, somehow his sentence was recommended to be consecutively, but he ended up getting concurrently. Hey, Lady May, Lisa Kleckner. They need to figure something out. Juniper, yes. So Brandon Lawson, Ronnie Lawson's son, which Ronnie Lawson's son had been charged with he had slept with his daughter. Yeah, his adopted daughter. He adopted her when she was like 2 or something. Super young, okay? Like, he's been in her life her whole life. It's absolutely disgusting. And he slept with her friend too. A minor. Yes, Stormy, we can see you. Brandon was a trustee when he was in jail. Actually, Fred was the one that told me that, I think it was Fred that he was a trustee. This was like a while back. And actually, he was some kind of special trustee too. A trustee with a radio, whatever the hell that means. A trustee with a radio? I don't know. That's what I was told. Fred said, tell everyone to be safe. It's a jungle out there. Love you guys. And I put, ha, 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 and he emailed back and said, well, it's the truth. LOL. Hey, John Paul. Oh, yeah. No, it's not. Well, it's statutory. It was statutory rape by an authority figure. I mean, it was consensual, but it's not because a minor can't consent. So, yeah, it's not like, yeah, he sexually assaulted. I say slept with because I think people need to know that he actually did that. People need to know he actually he did everything and multiple times. And I mean, we don't need to get into specific details and stuff, but yeah, I understand what you mean, because when they're a minor, it's not consensual. Especially these are in any state, it's not. In any state no state in the United States under 16 is it considered consensual. I want to know, how old was she really the first time it started happening? So here it shows, this is an order filed against Brandon Lewis Lawson by the state of Tennessee. It is ordered and adjudged and decreed that the defendant, Brandon Lewis Lawson, be and she is hereby restrained and enjoined from contacting, from coming about the residence or workplace, or from threatening or harassing blank in any way. Further is ordered, judged, and decreed that any violation of the foregoing provision of this order shall subject the defendant, Brandon Lewis Lawson, to fine or imprisonment, or both, in the discretion of the court after notice and hearing. Further is ordered and adjudged and decreed that the defendant, Brandon Lewis Lawson, she is hereby restrained and enjoined from, in any way, causing bodily injury or any way committing or attempting to commit an assault against blank. Okay, this next part is important. I need to read it. It says, further, pursuant to the applicable provisions of the TCA 39-13-102, A3, should the defendant, Brandon Lewis Lawson, attempt to cause bodily injury or commit or attempt to commit an assault against such individual or individuals, it is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that the defendant, Brandon Lewis Lawson, she will be thereby charged with aggravated assault, a Class C felony. Oh, never mind. Okay, I thought that was... So this is just... Okay, so at first he shows the two protective orders that was placed against Brandon from both the victims. So let's get through that. They're both identical. Rochester man gets 20 years for 4 counts of attempted aggravated sexual battery. Yeah, okay. Oh my God, dude, this just makes me so mad every time I freaking... Look at the date of this, too. Look at the date of this article. October 18, 2022. That's important to note, because just happen to notice the date on the articles, the date of the court dates, how odd the timing is. Also, we're going to look at the day of the week that his hearing was. Because according to sources very close to that would know what they're talking about, there's a certain day of the week that all cases are in Rogersville or Hawkins County. But for special cases like Brandon Lawson, I bet that they did this on one of those special days that I was told that when the public, when it's not as advertised or whatever, of when the person's like special in some way, I guess. And times they want to hide a trial. Oh, this makes me so mad, guys. Like, this is the sheriff of Summer Wells case. Ronnie Lawson, the sheriff of Hawkins County, is the father of this man. Ronnie covered this up. It's not okay. Okay, we read that one. That one is the same. Here it says, oh my freaking God, dude. You've got to be kidding me. I just can't. Notice how it says the state of Tennessee versus Brandon Lawson. What date is this, guys? October 13th? (2022). You'll notice how everything happened. Like, no, the public was never aware, never made aware of this whole thing. Says Brandon Lawson, the charges. Well, at first it says attempted rape, 4 counts. Then it gets crossed out and changed to 4 counts of attempted aggravated sexual battery. This says, on conviction, the defendant, having been convicted in the above-named court of the defense here on the 13th day of October 2022, and see, this is only a couple weeks before Jim passed away, and I was all over this, but Jim passed away. It was like, but man, reading all this stuff just brings back that same, like, frustration and anger. The defendant, having been convicted in the above-named court of the offense here on the 13th day of October 2022 and sentenced to serve 20 years of 30% with a RED of 30%, RED. It is therefore ordered that the defendant be confined until legally discharged. 30%. What's RED stand for? Let me look it up. in court terms. Let me see if you guys know. You pull this up and I'll type it in. It says with a RED of 30%. Let's see. I'm not sure. Dang it. I don't know what RED stands for, but touch Ziggy's thumb, y'all, to be a repeat offender. Says defendant have been convicted of the above named court in the above named court of the offense here on the 13th day of October 2022. So at first they changed it. It was attempted rape, but then they changed it again to attempted aggravated sexual battery. And sentenced to serve 20 years with a RED of 30%. So, but what I'm guessing is probably required like a certain amount of time that he has to spend in prison. 30% of 20 years sure isn't 1 year, but reduction. Some people are saying it means reduction. Why don't they just say reduction then? Because it says RED. It's like R.E.D. Anyways. To serve 365 days, then released to probation. That's freaking ridiculous. His attorney, Mark Stapleton, and moves this honorable court to allow him to waive grand jury action on the above style case and proceed information presented by the district attorney general. This was on October 13th, 2022. How did everything get freaking done in one day? Seriously. Is every court document they have going to be, is it all going to be October 13th? So Mark Stapleton moves the honorable court to allow him to waive grand jury actions on the above styled case and proceed by information presented by the district attorney general. Signed Brandon Lawson and Mark Stapleton. Approved and subscribed before me this 13th day of October. And it looks like it's signed by I don't know, Jody something. Oh, Jody Evans. And then the district attorney general, it's signed by Cecil. So it's the assistant. Dan had his assistant district attorney sign it because he didn't want to put his name on it because he knows that he's good buddies. People know that he's good buddies with Ronnie Lawson, and he's been in office around the same amount of time. Like, I know that there's something up, I'm telling you, with Dan Armstrong. Allegedly, in my opinion. In the criminal court for Hawkins County, Tennessee, date of birth, says negotiated plea agreement. What's this dated? Probably October 13th. Yes, of course. It says it is stipulated and agreed between the state of Tennessee and the defendant Brandon L. Lawson that upon the defendant's plea of guilty to the offenses of attempted aggravated sexual battery ×4, a sentencing hearing is waived, and the state and the defendant recommended the defendant be sentenced as follows. A Class C felony. So he has 4 Class C felonies. Classification of the defendant. He's a standard offender. And they release classification status. Okay, so it means release classification status is what RED means. I don't know why it's RED though, but release classification status 30%. So his term of sentence 20 years total, 4 counts, 5 years per count, 365 days incarceration, balance on probation. Oh, and then look here. Confinement in the Department of Correction. Did that happen? No. So under it, it's checked that confinement in the Department of Corrections. And then right under it, you can see confinement in county jail. And they check the Department of Corrections. That means prison. But no, he gets to stay in county jail, where he could be under the watchful eye of one of Ronnie Lawson's buddies. So he can make sure that his son gets these special privileges and make sure nobody hurts him. Make sure that his time is as comfortable as possible. Where is everybody? People need to be hearing about this. Is PG still live? Hey, Shiva Mom, 3 flying doves. No, country girl, Paige. This is so important. Like, maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow too, like at a better time. Because people need to be like making a big deal about this. Is it correct that his wife stayed with him? At first, yes. Now she's divorcing him. It's freaking gross. I mean, they even talk about how they went to church and counseling and stuff. So she knew about it for a while. But now that the spotlight's on her, she's getting a divorce. But I hear that she was really hard on the daughter and actually kicked the daughter out for a time being. Yeah, and I did know that Brandon Lawson stayed at Ronnie Lawson's house. I talked about it on here, and I couldn't tell you. I said I couldn't tell you guys how I know, but I promise you he was staying there, and it's freaking BS. How are you going to let... You're the sheriff. Is that not some type of conflict of interest? Yeah, she's supposedly divorcing him now. So look, recommended as to how sentences served. Confinement in the Department of Corrections. But no, how the hell did this not happen? I don't understand. It makes me so mad. Sorry, guys. Look, consecutively, you've got... Consecutively. So he was supposed... How the hell did he not at least get a year per charge? How the hell? And I mean consecutively. This is unreal. October 13th, 2022. Everything done in one day. This is blatant disrespect to the public, to the local. People in Hawkins County should be pissed. This was done like secretly as a way to keep it out of public view. And it's not okay. Why is it different for Brandon Lawson? Do they understand now, like, this case can be used as precedence for other cases? Like, it can be referenced? And so now we're going to have other freaking weirdos like other Brandon Lawsons, like, getting easier sentences because, they reference this case. Well, this guy only got 1 year. Always at night, like sinus stuff. Okay. So it says waiver of rights and plea of guilty. My true name is Brandon Lawson, and my attorney is Mark Stapleton, who was retained by me. I have received and read a copy of the information, discussed it with my attorney, and understand the nature of the charges against me. I have told my attorney the facts and circumstances concerning the accusations against me. My attorney has informed me as to the nature and cause of the charges against me and as to the possible defenses. My attorney has further advised me to the punishment provided by law for the offenses charged against me and the offenses to which I am pleading guilty. And he states, I am pleading guilty to attempted aggravated sexual battery ×4. So 4 Class C felonies. The sentence I will receive is 20 years total. 5 years per count to run consecutive. 1 year incarceration with a balance of 19 years on probation. It's freaking ridiculous. It has been fully explained to me, and I understand that I may, if I so choose, plead not guilty to any offense charged against me, and that if I choose to plead not guilty, the Constitution guarantees and this court will provide me the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses against me, the right to use the subpoena process of the court to compel the production of any evidence, including the attendance of any witness in my favor, the right to have a jury impose any fine in excess of $50, the right to have assistance of counsel in my defense in all stages of proceedings, and to have counsel appointed if I cannot afford to hire a lawyer, and the right not to be compelled to incriminate myself. I understand if I plead guilty, I waive my right to a jury trial and all the other above rights. In the exercise of my own free will and choice, and without any threats or pressure of any kind, or promises of gain or favor from any other source whatsoever, and being fully aware of the action I am taking, I do hereby in open court request the court to accept my plea of guilty to the charge of set of herein. Furthermore, having been advised of my constitutional rights, I freely and voluntarily waive my right to a trial by jury, my right not to be compelled to incriminate myself, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, look at this. Statutory rape by an authority figure. So, investigation into the complaint of sexual assault by Brandon Lawson upon his blank daughter. It says on Monday, February 14th, 2022. So February 14th, 2022. So they knew this was 8 months beforehand. But yet the public didn't know at all about any of this going on. On Monday, February 14, 2022, I received a call from General Armstrong advising the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department had received a complaint from DCS advising Brandon Lawson had sexually assaulted his juvenile daughter 4 years ago when she was 13 years of age. General Armstrong advised that the Sheriff's Department could not work the investigation because the listed suspect is the son of the current Sheriff Ronnie Lawson. Did you just hear that? How the hell is this okay? Clifford Evans is, oh my freaking God, is his assistant. How is that any different? Or Clifford, whatever his name is. I don't know if it's Cliff Evans. That's a detective. But it says right here, General Armstrong advised that the sheriff's department could not work the investigation, because the listed suspect. Okay, never mind. I'm getting a little excited here. I'm a little ahead of myself here. General Armstrong advised that the sheriff's department could not work the investigation because the listed suspect is the son of current Sheriff Ronnie Lawson. General Armstrong advised me to contact Hawkins County Sheriff's Department Detective Cliff Evans and get the information from him. I contacted Detective Evans, who advised the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department did receive the communication from DCS by email. The report stated that blank told her boyfriend, name unknown, that her father sexually abused her. The boyfriend then told his coach, who in turn told the school principal, Amber blank, who notified DCS. Interview of the victim, Wednesday, February 16th, 2022. Okay, it says the interview of victim. I went to blank high school in blank Tennessee to meet with the victim and find out if the allegations made were true. I met with blank, who put me in an isolated conference room, and then went to and got blank. Blank stayed for the interview. I introduced myself to blank and advised her the reason for my visit. I told her the allegations were that her father had had sex with her when she was 13 years old. Her immediate response was a look of shock and an excited no. She then started to explain what had happened 4 years ago. She started off by saying if she had questions, he would show her the answers. Oh my God. About this time, blank became emotional and started to cry. She was telling us that her father was a good man and he changed. He told us he had found God and that they were planning on going to a church counseling and that she didn't want to lose her dad. She also told us that about 4 months ago, she got to feeling guilty about all of this and went to her mother and told her what happened. She told us that her mother had forgiven her dad, and so had she. Again, she reiterated that he was a changed man and a good man. I felt it was best to give her a moment to calm down and left her and blank in the room. After about 5 minutes, I went back in the conference room. I asked her to So it says, after about 5 minutes, I went back in the conference room and I asked her to explain how her father would show her the answers to her questions. For example, she went to him one time and asked him if she could have, if she had an odor. He stuck his hands down the front of her pants, rubbed her blank, pulled his hand out. Oh my God. I'm not going to read that. part. At this point, she made an unsolicited statement. She said, "I don't want my dad to go to prison." I responded that I could almost guarantee that he would not go to prison. I did not say anything about him not going to jail. She went on to say that on another occasion, she asked him about fingering, and he showed her. At that point, I asked her, "You're telling me that your father stuck his finger in your blank?" And her response was yes. She then went on to tell us how he had, oh my God. Oh my God. She was pushed and begged to forgive him. You are absolutely correct. It's so sad. Can you believe this? That her mother knew months before this and had forgiven Brandon, that they, oh my gosh. I mean, it's not the child's fault here at all. Like, she is confused. I mean, when you grow up from a very young age and this stuff is happening, you don't understand quite how it's wrong. Like, you know it's wrong, but you don't understand how wrong, and that it's, how bad it really is. It's normalized. Yeah, I'm not going to read the really bad parts because it's like, it's really gross. She then went on to tell us how he had blank. And again, I asked her, "Are you saying your father had oral sex with you?" And again, she said yes. Having heard that, I then asked her if she had ever performed oral sex on her. Having heard that, I then asked her if she had ever performed blank on her father, and she stated she hadn't. She went on to say that he did. Oh my God, dude. I can't read that. Oh my God. Oh my God. After this conversation with Blank, I knew the complaint was true. I felt it was best to end the discussion at this point and give her time to calm down so she could go back to her classes. Also, I did not know which DCS investigator would be assisting in this manner. I wanted them involved when I took the written statement. After this conversation with Blank, I knew the complaint was true. Okay. Charges to be placed. 39-13-532, statutory rape by an authority figure. Statutory rape by an authority figure is an unlawful sexual penetration of a victim by the defendant or of the defendant of a victim when 1. The victim is at least 13 but less than 18 years of age. 2. The defendant is at least 4 years older than the victim. And 3. The defendant was at the time of the offense in a position of trust or had supervisory or disciplinary power over the victim by virtue of the defendant's legal, professional, hold on. Disciplinary power over the victim by virtue of the defendant's legal, professional, or occupational status, and use the position of trust or power to accomplish the sexual penetration. Or 4, the defendant had at the time of the offense parental or custodial authority over the victim and used the authority to accomplish the sexual penetration. And then it goes on to say statutory rape by the authority figure is a Class B felony. And no person who is found guilty of or pleads guilty to the offense shall be eligible for probation pursuant to 40-35-303 or judicial diversion pursuant 40-35-313. So technically, he was supposed to get these charges that was actually a Class B felony. And then somehow they're lowered, like, substantially. How? Then it gets lowered to a Class C felony, then it's lowered to, what, a Class D felony or something? This is crazy. You got a slap on the wrist, right? On Thursday, February 17th, 2022 at 8:45 a.m., the general and I met with blank Wilhoit of the TBI and requested assistance of a female agent. Agent Wilhoit advised he would check with his SAC and let us know his decision. At 10 a.m., Agent Wilhoit called me and advised me that the SEC had approved the request, and once he had the name of the female agent, he would call me back and let me know. Coordination with DCS, it says on Thursday, February 17th, 2022 at 9:29 a.m., I received a text message from blank Morgan of DCS advising me he was the DCS investigator assigned to the case. At 10:19 a.m., I called Investigator Morgan back and I advised him that this investigation needed a forensic interview done on the victim. He advised he would set that up and call me back with a date and time. Contact with the mother on Thursday, February 17, 2022 at 11:15 a.m. I placed a call to the mother of the victim, blank Lawson, at blank. There was no answer, no way to leave a message. At 3:06 p.m., I received a text from DCS Morgan advising the forensic interview had been scheduled for February 23rd, 2022 at 12:30 p.m. He also advised he had spoken with the victim's mother, who advised her husband was staying with his parents for the time being. I received a call from TBI agent Wilhoit advising Cutshaw was the female agent assigned to the case. It says on Wednesday, February 23rd at noon, I arrived at the Child Advocacy Center in Mausium, Tennessee for the forensic interview. The interview was conducted by blank case and was witnessed by myself, Agent Cutshaw, and DCS Morgan. Okay. After an interview, a call was placed by Cutshaw to Brandon Lawson. In the call, she requested that he come into the DA's office in Hawkins County for an interview. He advised he would, and the time of 1 p.m. was scheduled time. On the scheduled date and time, the suspect did not show up for the interview. He called Agent Cutshaw and told her that his lawyer, Philip Boyd, had advised him not to be interviewed. So his lawyer, was it Philip Boyd or was it that other Mark Stapleton? So then they interview of the pastor. While at the Child Advocacy Center on February 23rd, we learned that Lawson family had met with their pastor for counseling. Agent Cutshaw and I decided to look him up and speak to him about his knowledge on the matter. At 2:15 p.m., we proceeded to Blank to interview Associate Pastor Carver. Reverend Carver advised us that he had spoken with the family, but only as someone who could give them spiritual counseling. He had no knowledge of the facts of the case and had not spoken in depth with any member of the family. Okay. By the sheriff denying Fred a visitor is a violation of his constitutional rights, and his son only got a slap on their hand. I call corruption within that department. I agree, Penelope. Right, Sharon? Shelton, wonder how many other victims are out there by Brandon, and how many future victims there's going to be out there by Brandon. The other girl wanted him to pay for his crime. I know, right? And I think even his daughter said he should get at least a year each for his crimes, like have to actually serve it. And that's already a very lenient sentence for something that was, I mean, how does it get lowered so substantially? So what's this mean? Is there any way to go back from this? Or does Brandon Lawson just get freaking away with it no matter what? Or what if we do get somebody to investigate this and to take it seriously? Let's say they do look into it and find corruption and stuff. Would they be able to try the case again and be able to send him back to prison? Well, back to jail or to prison? Yeah, there isn't a cure. I turned the CD of Frizzick interview over to General Armstrong to view. Blank arrived at 2:35 p.m. in the company of her grandmother. Agent Cutshaw asked the question, and Blank stated she did not want me in the interview because I was the first one she talked to about this matter. I then stepped out of the room, and the interview took place without me. The interview lasted about 45 minutes, and afterwards, Agent Cutshaw filled me in on what was discussed. She advised the only new revelation was about a time when Brandon Lawson came into her room and Blank in her presence. Gross. Agent Cashel advised that she just added more detail to what she had already told us. She then advised that told them about a time when on vacation with her great uncle, blank made a comment about an underage friend that was with her. He said words to the effect of he would like to have sex with her. And Brandon stated he had already had sex with her and stated, I bent her over my basement steps. Gross. So they talked to the guy. And he states that it happened 2 to 3 years ago. But he stated that his family and the Lawson family went to Myrtle Beach together on vacation 2 or 3 years ago. They had rented a house where everyone stayed. Also on this vacation was a friend of Blank. Blank further stated that the girls shared the bathroom that he and his wife used, and that you had to pass through their bathroom or through their bedroom to get to it. He said that on one occasion, Blank walked through the bedroom while he was in the bedroom, bent over and said, "What do you think?" And he said he told her to get out. Blank then told us that a day or two after that happened, he was telling Brandon about the incident, to which Brandon replied, I know, I've had that bent over my steps before in my basement. Blank stated that he didn't know what to think about that admission and could not recall what he said about it. After the verbal statement was given, I reduced it to writing and had Mr. Blank sign it. The written statement began at 9:56 a.m. and ended at 10:05 a.m. So look at all these incidences right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no. Okay, those are 6. So no, that's just the ages they're showing here, like what grade you're in at those ages. So Brandon would show Blank some of the answers she had questions about that surrounded inappropriate things. Of course, dated October 13th, 2022, everything freaking happened in like one day, even though we see the investigation was, way before. In February. But yet, nobody else knew. Dan Armstrong knew. Ronnie Lawson knew. We know that. I bet most would be scared telling how his dad is. Lots of grown men in Hawkins County alone had little girls playing house. I remember all that in the beginning of this case. Wow. And the way he did it too just shows like how, like how he did the whole question and answer thing, and like he was teaching her like a dad or something. Oh my God. So it shows here in grades 6th to 7th, about when she was 11 to 13 years old, Well, first it starts here at a young age. Brandon would show blank some of the answers she had questions about that surrounded inappropriate things. So just young age, we don't know what age. And then it goes on to say, though, from ages 11 to 13, Brandon gave her a vibrator. Okay. In 8th grade, when she was about 13 and 14, Brandon performed blank on her. Which, ew. 14 to 15 years old, Brandon bought blank lotion and applied them to her chest and then took pictures of her. He also oh my freaking God, dude. Oh my God. This is more than 4 incidences. How come we got 4 incidents? Like, this is so bad, I can't even read it. I can't even think of how to even sorry. Yeah, I can't even, there's no way for me to even read this in an appropriate way. He would force her to touch him inappropriately. Oh my God. Oh my God. Right here, it says blank stated this was not the only time this occurred, only that the last occurrence was just a few months ago from the date of the interview, February 23rd, 2022. This was the occurrence that led her and her boyfriend to go to her mother's blank. So, right here in this paperwork here, it shows just a few months before this interview, there was an incident a few months before this interview. How the hell did they come up with only 4 instances? I mean, like, I'm reading here, I see 6 right in front of me right now. And how the hell, you guys, does this sound like attempted to you? That doesn't even make sense that he gets attempted. Sexual assault, that makes 0 sense. Attempted? This is not attempted in any way. I don't care if it's a plea. The plea still has to make sense for the crime. It doesn't make sense. There was no attempted nothing. I know that is not right. That is not normal. I understand that they lower people's charges all the time, but yes, but they don't, like, for instance, they might lower like a higher level theft to misdemeanor theft. but yet it's still a theft, okay? This, it completely it does not make sense for the crime. They did all these loopholes and changing of things around to try to make sure he could do the least amount of time in jail. And he freaking ruined. Can you imagine what this girl is going through? And I've heard she's also got hell from her mother. She had to hear, Brandon beg, like, oh, I'm sorry, and then she had to worry about, her dad going to prison, but yet, she's all messed up, because of all this. And then you have the other one who wanted him to pay for his crimes and nothing. Yeah, 19 years of probation. Does that say he serves 1 year of 20 with the other year's probation? Yeah. I do too feel horrible for that girl, for her. I feel horrible for both of them. The daughter, though, is, the amount of pressure put on her is so unfair. What the freaking mom did too, they should all be ashamed of themselves, for real. This is just disgusting. This was the occurrence that led her and her boyfriend to go to her mother's blank office. Mother states this was either May 2021 or August 2021. So you guys, this was what's the date of this? Oh, of course, October 13th. I don't know. Anyways, so October 13th, 2022. So she knew over since May of 2021. Huh. Right around the time Summer went missing. Just another side note. Anyways. And stayed with him and forgave him? Ew! Ew! Oh my God. Here's even more instances. Oh my freaking God. Unknown timing of occurrences. Brandon shows blank porn after picking her up from friend's house. Brandon shaved blank area and showed her house how to. Oh my freaking God. Blank using. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is just so bad. It's freaking disgusting. This is horrible, guys. Something has to be done. This is not okay at all. I mean, and it's dangerous. I mean, yeah, it's dangerous. Like, pastor at the Bureau Missionary Baptist Church, Jonathan Carver. So I was looking into the wrong guy. This is actually the guy I need to look into. I was looking into the lead pastor. So right here is the one that supposedly knew about Brandon's inappropriate behavior. But he said, I mean, I should say, in my opinion, that's my opinion, because in the report it states, oh, he didn't know the details and he was just giving spiritual, guidance. But I don't know if I believe that he didn't know. Hey, Blue Eye Dumplings. There are countless occurrences per Dan Armstrong, but Smiley told Smiley that victims agreed to the sentence to prevent a trial and have them testified to be victimized. Was stated by a medium. The initials JC was stated by a medium? Really? This guy's young though, like maybe is he by chance the son of he's one of them? George Bradley. I mean, I could easily find it. I don't think, I mean, obviously they have a lot of different last names, so probably not. So back to the document real quick. What do you mean? What meth? Which meth do you mean? There's meth out everywhere out there in East Tennessee. Oh, you mean from Brandon? I don't know. I should have. Fred tells me he doesn't know who. I don't think he knew who Brandon Lawson was. So I don't think it came from Fred, if that's what you're thinking. But, who knows? Like, so, please describe the nature of the incident in which you or the victim was involved. Sexual abuse. So this is Judge Carter. The district attorney is Dan Armstrong. So result of the incident, were you physically injured? No, says, but I don't know if I'm going to read, like, if it's really, how has this incident affected you or your family's lifestyle? Please explain. I no longer live with my mother. Please describe what being the victim of crime has meant to you. I feel like my world has been flipped upside down. I'm still a high school student and feel like all of this has taken away parts of my childhood. Oh, I'm not going to read much of this but it's on here, guys, if you want to see it over at Trev Times. Says I was treated fairly and I've agreed to the plea deal. They'd want a no contact order placed. So the close family, District Attorney Dan Armstrong here, it even says Dan Armstrong, Judge Carter Moore. So the close family friend says, I was at Brandon's house to stay the night. Me and blank was good friends. He told me to come to the basement. Oh my God. I went down there and he started talking about sex. And if I had any questions about my body. I said no, but he kept insisting that I did. Wow. So I wonder if this is a third victim. Because it says that he started talking about sex and stuff and asking her if she had questions about her body, and she said no, but he insisted that I did, and that when he touched my body, knowing I was uncomfortable. We went to go upstairs. He showed me a picture of his penis on his phone and told me that if I told anyone, he would tell people I sucked him off, even though I never had hands on him. I wonder if that's a third person now. Yeah, child SIers should never see the light of day. People can get off drugs and stop selling them, but child SOs don't stop. Thank God not all men are this way, but it certainly seems more men and women are doing horrible things more than ever. Sadly, this happens to more women than not. I remember a creator, can't remember who, but not Cal, told Don about Brandon and the victims. Don could only go on and on about Brandon's heavy meth usage. I'm curious if this is a different victim, because I heard the other one, there was one that he actually assaulted. Were you physically, emotionally injured as a result of this incident? She said yes. It made me feel disgusting and guilty that it happened. I felt like people would think differently in a bad way if they knew. It made me feel insecure about my body. I felt guilty that I didn't tell anyone, but I was scared. It made me very sad and disgusted with myself. I don't like being around older men. It's sad. What sentence do you think the court should impose? Do you favor imprisonment? And it said, I do favor imprisonment. I think he should serve a full amount, at least one out of the 4 counts. 1 year is not hardly punishment for a sex offender. He needs to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Says, do you have any other comments you would like to make? Is there any other history with the defendant that you would like the judge to know? Says, Brandon and my father grew up together. I was best friends with blank. I went to church with him. He helped with the youth, and he was a Sunday school teacher or Sunday school superintendent. I knew Brandon mostly because of going to church with him. So I'm just curious how many other victims there are. So this was signed October 12th, 2022. Everything happened within 24 hours. Like, it's unreal. Defendant Brandon Lawson, Judge Carter Moore, Defense Attorney Mark Stapleton, District Attorney Dan Armstrong, Investigating Officer Whitaker. Oh, look, the date submitted October 11th, 2022. Everything happening around literally 1 or 2 days. The whole case just done in 1 or 2 days. This is crazy. Prepared by Kelly Williker. Hold on 1 second. Caitlin's staring at me. Caitlin, I'm going to get off here in just a second. Sorry, guys. I do have to go here in a second, but prepared by Kelly Whitaker. So that's a female detective. This just has his weight and stuff. So look at this. Attempted rape. 4 counts. This is dated. Oh my God. Oh, okay. So when's this dated? September 21st. Pending set for plea, October 13th, 2022. Information filed and are summarized as follows: that the count 1 attempted rape that in or around the month of August 2018. The defendant did unlawfully commit the offense of attempted rape by knowingly and unlawfully attempting to sexually penetrate. And it says, and the attempt was accomplished without the consent of the victim. And the defendant, Brandon Lewis Lawson, knew or had reason to know at the time of the attempt that the victim blank did not consent. They all say the same. Attempted. Okay. Hey, Lisa. Hey, everybody. What is Fred's sentence to Brandon's? Well, Fred has been he's been in jail for, he's been in there since June. So 6 months in Hawkins. And then he's getting 9 months in rehab. It's pretty much about the same. And then he's on probation. He's actually on probation for less time, like 12 years. He actually, Fred got a pretty good deal, to be honest. Honestly. So it says the defendant's version, this is according to Brandon, that the defendant gave the following statement on the questionnaire: that my daughter's boyfriend didn't like the rules she had to obey while living at my house. So he gave her a choice. She chose him. So I had to go. Signed, Brandon Lawson. Victim statement on September 28, 2022. A victim impact statement was mailed to blank on October 10th, 2022. This officer received a call from Mary Lawson, grandmother of blank, who stated the victim impact statement was received by blank in the mail on October 8th, 2022. Mary advised blank filled out this statement. This officer requests the statement to be emailed so that it can be included in this report. As of the filing of this report, the victim impact statement has not been received. If the statement is received, it will be filed with the court. Defendant reports his overall physical and mental health is good. Defendant reports he does not have a criminal or does not have a primary care physician. Defendant states he has a private insurance through his wife's Michelle's employment. Defendant reports he began using alcohol at the age of 16. Defendant states he drinks alcohol very rare. Defendant reports he began using illegal non-prescribed drugs at the age of 20. Defendant reports he started using hydrocodone due to peer pressure from his boss at the time on September 26, 2022. This officer interviewed defendant and he admitted to using methamphetamines and marijuana 2 or 3 weeks ago. Defendant stated the reason for recent use was to keep sanity. Defendant reports he currently is under the care of Dr. Randy Falconer, Kingsport, Tennessee, and is taking the following prescribed medication: Suboxone, 2 tablets per day. Defendant reports that he has been taking Suboxone since 2014. Defendant states he is one of 2 children born to Debbie Lawson and Ryan Lawson. Defendant reports his parents have been married 47 years and live in Rogersville. So he was actually had a different wife and he was married to somebody else at one time. They were married. It says defendant is currently married to blank. They were married on April 30th, 2010 and currently live at blank, Rogersville, Tennessee. So if you guys do the math, they were married in 2010. Well, that's 13 years ago. The child was very young. when they got married. And it says, defendant reports in 2012 he adopted her, and she has no contact with her biological father. Defendant stated his feelings about past and current family relations. He says, I have very good family. We are close. My wife is my best friend. The defendant reports he is currently a member of Bureau Missionary Baptist Church, Rogersville, Tennessee. Defendant states he has been on 5 missionary trips to Jamaica. Oh, this is like... So this talks about subject is committed assault on a child. This just has it's like an assessment. The Honorable John Duggar, judge of the criminal court, has recused himself from hearing the above captioned matter pursuant to the provision of Tennessee Code 17-2-101. And they changed it to the Judge Carter Moore. I wouldn't want to be a judge of the case either. Okay, so that's it. That's what Trevor has shown us, and it's very much appreciated because I think it's necessary that people know of what is going on in Hawkins County. And thank you to the person who just sent a $5 PayPal. It's much appreciated. Homemade banana ice cream. I don't even think I've had ever any type of homemade ice cream. He tried to make the daughter his best friend too. Yeah, and actually, he really just messed with that girl's head. Exactly. That's what I was thinking, Kathy. That's exactly what I thought about other young girls on these missionary trips. The cops are just as dirty as the criminals, right? It's just crazy. Banana ice cream. That sounds crazy to me. Crazy. I didn't get nearly done today what I needed to, of course. Man, I need to do a reading too. I have some things I need to get done, so I just remembered I'm sitting here like about half asleep, but then I remembered I'm supposed to do a reading for somebody. I know, right, Jaded? they do need a whole revamp of the freaking system, but I don't know. It's going to take some kind of miracle. We do have Ronnie leaving office, though. But I still think it's like BS that he can just like kind of just disappear, you know? Like, oh, we're going to just deal with this and just kind of sneak out of office and let another sheriff take over. Electric ice cream machines. Yeah, that would be awesome. Right? Makes me wonder where Brandon was on June 15, 2021. It was right around that exact time that it was like Summer went missing right after the time that Brandon Lawson's adopted daughter came out and outed Brandon. It says in that report that it was around like May 2021 when she outed Brandon Lawson in front of her mom. Or she outed Brandon Lawson to her boyfriend, who then told his coach. So it was all around that time that his life was tumbling down. May 2021. Mid-June, Summer Wells goes missing. Did he think his life was over? Did he... So that happened. He's outed May 2021. Summer goes missing June 14th, 2021. He started using meth and marijuana. Interesting. Wonder what he did with the pictures. Where did he get this, learn this behavior? Because it's not this was super when she was really young. It started happening. She couldn't even, in the paperwork it says from a young age. She didn't even know what time or what age. It just said young age. I feel like they know. I mean, even in that paperwork, it talks about things happening when she was 12 and 13. Thank you, Jaded. I know. He was involved with Burim Church. Telling you, Fred's. I promise you, Fred's not involved in Summer Wells at all. I would almost bet my freaking life on it. I bet, I mean, seriously, I could pretty much say I bet my life on it. Opinion adults have to learn what children is learn behavior. Adults have cravings. I feel like actually they're trying to railroad Fred, and I do believe it was somebody's plan to put. I do think that that was the plan to somehow put this on Fred. One second. Okay, hold on. Hey, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Fred and others are being used as direct distractions. I think someone wants to keep him quiet about who he is sold to. Yeah, see, that's the problem too. It's like when you're into that drug scene in meth, like that comes with pretty, for some reason, there's something about meth, like for some people, like some people don't, it doesn't affect the same, but, and Fred's one of those because he is so ADHD that it actually slows him down. So it doesn't make him like crazy like it does a lot of people. But most people, like for people who don't have ADHD or whatever, it can make you stay up and give you psychosis and stuff like that. But actually, Fred told me he was addicted to pain pills, not meth, and he was actually on Suboxone, I believe. And so, but what comes along with that lifestyle? I do know he was trying to save money to save that property and was hiding a lot of money. And that's really what the sisters were looking for, and they did find money. And anyways, you're around bad people when you meth. It's like some people associated with meth, like a lot of people associated with meth, are like really bad news. So I understand why people think bad about Fred, because he's been labeled like and he didn't hear he gets in trouble for meth. You know what I mean? Like, but it's almost like, did they try to make sure they set him up so that they could be like, oh, look, he is a meth head. You know what I mean? And then try to put it on Fred, trying to discredit his, any type of credibility he could possibly have. So Don Wells would be right that he's not listed as a child offender. What? That is true. It doesn't say any freaking thing about him being a child offender. That is freaking ridiculous. Here, let me show you what the kind of shit they're pulling, dude. This is absolutely this is a slap in the face to the public. People should be pissed. He's registered, but it doesn't say, it has him as, it doesn't have him as a child sex offender, though. It has him as, it's 20. No. Yeah. Hold on, guys. Okay. Sorry. Now I'm all distracted. I was really on a roll. Okay, I was going to pull up. That's what I was going to do. So when you look up the sex offender on the offender registry, his crimes, there's nothing on here about how old the victims were. See, look at this sly shit that they're doing. They're trying some freaking.
Came out the 24th.
Okay. Right, Valerie? Fred doesn't know. And he's not creepy at all. Like, he never. No. So this says something. Okay, it says his classification is violent. There's nothing here about children. Attempt to commit aggravated sexual battery, but nothing about a child being being a child. Oh my freaking god, dude! Oh, he has to register as a sex offender forever. Yeah, but he gets, sex offenders are looked at, like horrible. But if you're a child sex offender, it's even like that much worse. Notice how they just so happen to not have him as a child sex offender. It's ridiculous. No, it just says violent. Hold on, let me pull up the website to make sure that they didn't miss it. Tennessee Sex Offender Registry. nothing about it being a child. Fucking unreal, dude. I'll show you. This is from the actual website, but when you click here, it says under a violent sexual offender means a person who has been convicted in the state of committing a violent sexual offense as defined in subsection 31, or who has a conviction from another jurisdiction that would constitute a violent sexual offense if committed in Tennessee. So I want to see about classifications. Okay, here, let's look at this here. Um, trying to find how you get what's the classification for a violent sex offender, or if a child sex offense. Violent sexual offender makes a distinction between two types of sex offenders to get the more severe label. So get the more severe label of being a violent sexual offender, you must have committed a sex offense in an aggressive or threatening nature. Okay. So I see how they did this here. So that's how he got the violent, because it was the rape of a young child. But it doesn't mention anything about child on his registry. What if we look at other people's? Let's see here. Let's compare his to somebody else's. So he has a classification as violent. Let's go. Trying to find, okay. Let's go, actually, this Hawkins County, Kingsport, Sullivan. If I can freaking remember. Kingsport. It doesn't have to, I guess we don't have to find exactly Hawkins, but Spluntville. I don't know, maybe I should, this is a violent against children. This guy is a horrible guy. I don't see anything, though, about... Good Lord. Criminal attempt to commit aggravated sexual battery. So this is the same thing as his. Criminal attempt to commit aggravated sexual battery. That's literally the same thing as Brandon's. And look, violent against children. Violent against children refers to a violent sexual offender whose victims were 12 years of age or younger. See, that's why they put him as 13, or that she was 13. Oh my God. So, see, this is exactly why they wanted to say a certain age. Didn't want to, they agreed to the certain age of, it even states in the paperwork that there's incidences when she was 12. Anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to go. I'm supposed to do a reading for somebody. We're always interested in story suggestions, particularly about people in neighborhoods, but on any subject. Email your story ideas to Times News managing editor Rob Walters. What's that? You popped in 30 minutes ago and you said the same thing. What's that? About, have you thought about talking to someone at the officers who have left Hawkins County the last 2 years? It might give you some insight on what Ellie is really doing in this case. I have talked to, not, there is some that I do want to, not anybody who's like, do you know anybody in particular, JoJo, that you're thinking of? Oh, I know. That I was going to go do a reading. I know. I do this all the time. I'll also label things as a quick live, and then it will end up being like several hours or something. All right, guys, everybody get some rest, and we'll talk tomorrow. Ta-ta! Look how stupid Panda looks. Actually, look how stupid this one looks. All right, bye. Good night, guys.